And inhale. Om.
Om Namo
Namo.
Om
Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo.
Adgare Name
Jugadgare
Jugadgare Name
Sadgare
Adgare Name Sri Guru Adgare
Adgare
Jugadgare
Jugadgare
Name
Sadgare
Adgare Name Sri Guru
Adgare Jugadgare
Jugadgare Name Sadgare
Sadgare
Sri Guru
Breathe.
Satnam.
Satnam.
I had trouble with the link. I apologize.
Thank you. And be sure that you are tuning in first. Breathe. And then at the beginning here, Japa Saraswati, would you talk about Gian Devi?
Oh, Jyotian Devi, she is sailing in the British Virgin Islands.
Oh,
How delightful.
isn't that wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Gian Das Prem. And does anybody know about Salt City?
No, but I feel Set City.
Oh, right.
I don't know if she's coming today, but I feel her all the same.
Oh,
Has anybody heard from her?
I think she was on like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
No,
it was. Mhm. Okay. So now for this chat, I can't talk that well. So please, Japa Saraswati, can you talk us
Sure.
about our chat?
Yes, Siri Gian wrote a wonderful email and sent it to me, and it's posted in our chat. So I'm going to read it to us for our cue to meditate. So everybody should have a pen and paper for today's meditation, and it goes like this. Today, from Baba Siri Chand says, to get to know our brother aliens. You will find lots of things during the event. As you remember, Baba Siri Chand has told us to understand that our whole age is changing. That is where lots of things will change and transform that will be so outrageously kind and so much more for yourselves and others. This will be your time today to get to know more with our brother beings, BB, and with you together. So please get your paper and pen because you will have a few questions. During our Baba Siri Chand meditation for brother beings, you can ask about 2 questions, more or less. That can be such as personal questions or about now or for the future. Please have your questions on your paper for about 2 minutes. Then we will have our regular 1 minute heart pumping and 3 minutes heart breath. When Baba Siri Chand Brother Beings meditation for your questions and answers, then we'll talk with the group. Siri Gian, are we tuning in to our brother beings as well as to Baba Siri Chand?
No, as we understand, Baba Siri Chand is our translator.
Mm, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And you can directly um, from Baba Siri Chand and or stay with Baba Siri Chand, but also you may understand about the beings, brother beings.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we're going to meditate for 2 minutes now to come up with about 2 questions to ask. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. I'm
Okay.
ready. Is everybody else ready?
Japa
Okay.
Saraswati, I have one quick question. I don't have that in my chat.
I don't either.
Uh-oh.
Wild. So if you scroll up, if you open the chat and then like I just move my finger down and then I get the stream of things from our last couple of chats.
I don't get anything. I just get what I did today.
Okay, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it again. And I don't understand why that is. City
I
said that
know,
was
I'm so
space.
sorry. Oh, there it is. You just did it. Thank you.
I just did it. I just copied it from above and
Okay,
I
so it's
pasted it
here.
to
Thank
below.
you so much.
All
Okay.
right.
Do you all have that now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Okay. So now begin for 2 minutes for your questions and begin. Okay. Now we're going to have the first minute for heart pumping. And continue 3 minutes, heart breath, meditation. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Aagia Pal.
Yes. This this was a very big one for me. My two questions were, one was how to rise out of this quicksand quagmire of chaos and be useful to the world. And then I said, how to love myself as my eyes open and see the world and what's happening. How to love myself when I don't feel lovable or part of a loving world, and then how to what tools to arm myself against what I perceive as the attacks of the dark side, psychic attacks of the dark side. So those are my questions that kind of went right to the heart of the whole thing. And so yeah, so I mean, the answers from Baba Siri Chand, first of all, I felt that he was just having me breathe and just sort of relaxing into his love and my and the beings that are that I have actually perceived recently, you know, close to me and around me. So to allow to give sort of give it over to them, give my life over to them, to Baba Siri Chand and to these benevolent beings, and not try to do it all by myself and control things, which is my MO. And so how, you know, so I feel each day when I hear more and more of what's happening and realize realize the chaos and the just basic mess that we're in, and even more and more, I mean, it just piles on. And as I marched on the 5th, it felt really good to be with people. But that was
Did
only,
you have what was that gathering?
yeah.
Okay. And what do you call that?
Sorry.
What do you call that?
It was a hands-off march,
A march.
or a demonstration, or, you know, so New Haven, you know, all around, there's 50 states and 50 places in each one. One of my clients went to Boston. He said it was just amazing. It was like thousands of people. So anyway, so I'm being definitely pushed out of my comfort zone, for sure, into a space of, you know, what the daffodils are saying to me is rise up and speak out. And you know, this makes me very afraid, very leery, and very wanting courage, and needing courage, because I'm very, very concerned about, you know, globalization, the economy, you know, you name it, it's not in a good place. So I basically, the bottom line is how to see where I fit in, my purpose, what's my vision, you know, and how, as I give my life over to these benevolent forces and God and so forth, how to keep up, you know, can I just asking for help to keep up. And when I get these psychic attacks from the dark side, how to I don't say disarm them, but, you know, how to make them not affect me so much, you know, to protect myself against this. And so yeah, so that's what I heard. It's just, you know, I guess it's just been very sort of destabilizing, because I'm realizing that it is an apocalypse. I mean, it is required of me to live in a different way, to have a new paradigm, have a new way of thinking, a new way of living. The old stuff the things that are intangible, technology, I think what they're saying to me is that I need to um, arm myself really strongly, stay in the presence of people that are kind and loving, stay in their presence, and then and then and then uh, like have breathe heart breath inside, around me, above me, in front of me, just be a heart breath agent, so to speak. um and that's and that's the best I can do.
Mm, that sounds like the best. Okay,
Thank you.
good. Thank you, dear.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, Ved Bachan.
I don't feel ready just yet, if that's okay. I need a little more time.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Gian Das Prem. Gian Das Prem. Are you there?
Satnam, I am here. So that was really deep for me too. I was still a little bit in there. But what I came out with is how do we come to a point where we would not question? And will it be known to all of us? First of all, I would say hello. I would ask the question of how are you if we are here two together, would be the first thing, upon seeing energy that shows itself in another form as a means of communication. So coming to that point, and trying to rid my personal experiences from it as coming in the middle there and trying to find what would be the question that I would ask to something foreign, which is part of in my belief. So trying to release that inherent way, right? But our neural pathways eventually do open to allow us to change our way of moving or our way of thought, along with a higher vibration. So will you show us the vibration that will allow the freedom to enter our DNA so that it can become part of our heart? That's my question. There are some whys and there are some ifs and there are some other things, but coming down to that, not having to question it, are we showing ourselves from where we are or where we're from? And why is it not? It's okay. Why is it okay? Is it okay for us to ask where we're from and then for you to show us where we're from by simply showing us other than just a rainbow? Can you show us the other half of the rainbow? And things like that allow the communication of the freedom of that, my vision of the mother and child being able to walk through any doorway, to walk up, for each of us to be able to walk up to any doorway, and for that doorway to open, whether it be for us to be comforted or to be healed or to meet those that we thought that we may have lost, and that there is a way that the creation is allowed, right, to erase the question, is now that if we're coming to our reality of the science, knowing that we are from the stars, that the elements are what created us, and Baba, Mama, haha. So we come to a place, I guess, where we're human and we're surrounded by all of these species. I just return to the same place, and then try to, look off into that infinity sort of way of being, of how the items were allowed to travel to all of these places that were allowed to create this way that we're speaking and communicating right now, which is really the true value of the safety and the food and the comfort and our travel ability, and coming back to that heart, the queen's chamber, whatever you want to call it. There's a pit. I always refer back to the triangle and the pyramids, and I don't know why, but maybe it's just that being protected under something that will allow me to get inside of it. And being in the yogic school for the last few years, the lower triangle, and then there's so many things that we can go into, but really the music and coming back to that way of feeding and feeding each other with that, the music and the change in our bodies and the DNA and the light, which, yeah, because wow, I mean, the earth creates just so much magic, right? Without, even having us here, it's just creating this magic. And then we're here along with that vibration of these unknown amounts of species. Yeah. So coming back into that peaceful mode, and seeing that translation of having a mother and a father, and that representation of the middle of the soul being, like an arc line of our backbone, sort of, and the being held part of that, and within the thread, and the threads coming together, and then the neural pathways opening up and allowing the nerves to relax. And the body does have sort of a natural cycle, but I believe that there's ways in coming together with this freedom of communication, and all of our experience within it, that there is a certain divide that we can either face, we can surrender to that. And so, yeah, and our explanation there, like hoping, for me, I would just ask, what is the time when this all will happen, but I think that we all inherently sort of know that that's coming, within the next couple of years or whatnot. That, if I can reduce my questions and go more into my breath, then I can, yeah, because that breath and that music of that rhythm, and the way that it creates new ways for us to become more free, yeah, and to loosen ourselves from all these, I guess, chains that bind us, these mental chains and these restrictions that have been put around us, and the use of, certain items that we sometimes put above life. That can also be my opinion of, ridding that part of the opinion to just, where are we here and how do we know how things grow. So yeah, and then back to the breath, because here we are, returning to that breath, where we're challenged in so many ways, but we're also allowed to be in that unlimited possibility of where we're going. Yeah. And I just see, the freedom of that, saying mama and baba, and, you know, being a child and dancing around that, it's all something that we as adults are teaching our children how to do. So if we can teach the freedom in that movement, um, that's coming through for everyone, if it's, we're getting older, right? So within that becoming older, there is a time when, this body will go on to back to the earth or back to the elements or however, and then Wahiguru, right? So if we can be in that Wahiguru now, we are in that Wahiguru now. The Wahiguru now is just so beautiful, coming into the love and being able to, yeah, thankfully still have one of my parents here, my mom, and to be close to her. At this age, I'm a 61-year-old man and living in the United States of America. So, yeah, we're really experiencing a lot of change, but we're such a young and small country. So if we have an example that we can really set for our brothers and sisters around the world coming together. Yeah. For that way of like stretching out our hands to come together. Yeah. Rather than, and the machines can help us do that too, right? And we can find cleaner ways to do it and less harmful ways to do it to the earth. And I think that coming together is really, really done it. It's really been beautiful. For me, what I had to do was I had to, with my brother, we came together and there was a mechanical failure that we had to address on that particular day where everyone came together and we noticed how quiet it was where we were in a city area where we were able to just do all this work on this vehicle and there wasn't even anyone around. They were all just off doing their thing. And it was just so beautiful to see them all come back the next day. And all of a sudden the city's busy again and everything. And the whole time the birds were just flying up above us doing their thing in Wahiguru. So, yeah, we can do that too. We have that ability. And I think that having the courage to be able to face that light, for me, it was a lightning ball, that I didn't think was real, but I was aware enough and practiced enough to awake to it and, speak into something or write something down and then go back into another therapy that allowed me to, be able to see the colors more and whatnot. But lightning balls happen. And when you get into a certain situation where you're challenged, and then your practice comes along and says, it's okay, you're here, you're still here. Breathe into being here and breathe into that being now as part of the witnessing of this energy that is happening for us. Yeah. And it goes back to me was opening that door of that guy's house who had all the attachments on top of his house. And I could just hear all these noises coming from inside the house. And, I had to hear what it was. And he was just sitting at this place with all of these communications going on. And yeah, and the owl can do the same thing for me too. So I like to jump around and do certain things just like my heart does. And sometimes I look at myself now and I'm like, wow, I look at that container that I'm in with this skin and this softness and all these organs inside of me, and becoming aware of that and knowing that there's stars in the sky and all that. It's just, yeah, there's a lot, but in a way, coming to that simplicity and in the way of courage, of that freedom of knowing that there is a cycle that we all go through that allowed all those elements to come back, and create us. So I don't think that I'm going off on a tangent. I think that I'm just becoming more attached to what I'm here with in that Wahiguru. And I do like to talk a lot. So that's what I'm working on. Deep in silence, nothing happens. Wahiguru.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. I love you people.
Yes, we love you.
Humans are okay.
Okay. So now we've just seen Sant City. Sant City, can you make that not video?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And now, have you seen the
Prompt. Yes.
chat?
Yes.
Okay. So make sure that you have tuning in and
Okay.
then
Yes.
you know about all those things.
Yes. Well, I
Okay.
did. And I'm last because I'm
That's
adjusting
right.
my work schedule to be able to be here on time. Thank you.
Okay. Because it might be longer than we normally have.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So now, oh, good. Okay. Harimandir. Are you there, dear?
Yeah. Okay, I can do this. It's the whole extraterrestrial stuff is it has been a little beyond me. And one of the things in this particular case is I've been listening to a couple of the mystics or, um, on YouTube, and one of them is Susan Lin, who talks to her spirit guides, which essentially, I suppose, these other beings are. And she makes the point that what she says is 60% her spirit guides and 40% her.
Mhm.
And that to share with us what her spirit guides said, there has to be a human interconnection or so that we can, the spirit guides are off on their own agenda and their own information, but it's sometimes hard to understand unless we have this human interaction or connection to this. And excuse me, hold on just. Anyway, my husband came through. So what Aagia Pal brought up is how the heart breaks, kind of, or the when we see so much darkness and so much unkindness and all that. And there was a Instagram talk by Dr. Gabor Mate. It was on. It was about. Hold on. Do this. He was talking about Gaza specifically, but when we see the horrendous cruelty that's happening, he talked about how allowing, he talked about the how important it is that our hearts do break, because that is our affirmation of our humanity. And a shared humanity when our hearts break, we could go into a deep hole of depression and outrage and I can't do anything and all that, and withdrawal. But simply having our hearts broken from what we see and experience, that shared humanity is our personal resistance. And that reverberates globally when we understand that this is cruel and horrible and all those things. To me, it is the beginning of our resistance. And acknowledging ourselves how cruel and unnecessary all this is a big step toward having our observation go globally, that it is cruel, it is terrible, and that with our hearts broken, it is an affirmation that we are um, kind, that we are aware, and those things. So the other, go ahead.
That we are what?
That we are living in that kindness, because otherwise our heart wouldn't break when we see the cruelty. I guess is what I'm saying. And the other thing is, we've come out of a whole age, the Piscean age of male domination. So I would like to listen to my sister. We're talking about the brother guides. I think there are a lot of sister guides, and we're going into this new age where the women are rising and the women are creating these hands-on, hands-off demonstrations. Women are really the leaders. So I think it's important to include them in our verbiage and not just have brothers telling us what to do. And I'm also really interested in the frequency of forgetfulness. We talked about that last week. And we approach it differently than the frequency of forgiveness, I think. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around, because people are beginning to say that around, that they are having to acknowledge the past rather than hoping it will go away. So that frequency of how we accept and include that frequency and change that frequency of forgetfulness so that it becomes remembrance, and that is part of our journey. Okay, that's all.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to ask you,
Thank you.
you were right, excuse me, about brother beings, and I kept wondering, now what do we call something else for women? And I'm not entirely sure that these beings are men and women. So,
I feel that they are genderless, or
Yes.
that they're both at the same time, that it's a total encapsulation. And I guess that part of me experiences that also. Like, I understood this through Baba Siri Chand's celibacy, that he like, it's like a child that never reaches sexual maturity. It's both at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the two energies Carl Jung talks about, the anima and the animus. And it's a integration. I feel these beings are an integration of the anima and the animus.
Like Shiva, right down the middle, right? One earring's bigger than the other for a reason. Great example.
And that's the point, that as we're seeing so many people being born who are neither male or female, and it's important to, I think, to not genderize who we're listening to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Love it, Harimandir.
Okay.
And Aagia Pal. that was. Can I go next, Siri Gian? Oh, did you want to add something, Aagia Pal?
Yeah, I did. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I just want to thank Harimandir
Mm-hmm.
because my heart, she just nailed it. I mean, as my heart is breaking, my heart is breaking open, and thank you for the reassurance and the support, and that that's happening, and that's a good thing. And so I just really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to say that then I said, well, if they're not men and women to be born, I say, how do you get more beings? And and it was actually from many of the beings together, and it was pure intention, and somehow they bring forth a new being. Okay. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Negative.
I like the energy management of it.
Yeah,
That's really efficient energy management.
true.
Simple.
Because no more rape and all of that. Okay. Good. Okay. So now
Can I go? I feel like it's so then Ved can have time to think, and so so Set City also.
sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
So my two questions were, what is the future of our oceans and waterways and aquatic animals? Because I'm sitting here on the bank of the river, and during the meditation, there was this huge seagull that was just playing in the wind the whole time. And then later, a bald eagle has been, he lives right around here. And there's just so much wonderful wildlife around me. And then the second question was more a note of personal guidance to me, because I feel like I could use any words of advice that would come. So um so I have notes, and here it goes, is that Baba is a brother being, and that brother beings are a vibration, brother or sister beings are a vibration. And what I felt was about psychic communication. So this is, I don't know if, I think Gian Das Prem is listening to the telepathy tapes, but I really recommend them. They're a podcast that talks about the phenomena of nonverbal autistic kids psychically communicating. And there's some video of the interviews on their website. And there's a really moving video from a nonverbal autistic boy. So he's communicating on these words through, I think it's called a communication board, and they indicate the letters to spell out words to say what they want to say. And so he was asked how and why he's communicating psychically, and they asked him about honesty, and he said, you don't get powers like I have if you're not honest. And when I heard it, what I understood was that he is communicating entirely through vibration, and that he's receiving entirely vibration. That's how he can hear messages from people who are really, really far away. And likewise, he can communicate with people who are really, really far away, is that it's just vibration. But if you are vibrating something that is untrue, or it has like an obscured meaning, it's not going to go very far at all. It's going to fall flat, and you will eventually not be able to be that clear receptacle to receive and send the messages if you are being deceptive. And so what I understood about this is that we are all growing in sensitivity to vibrations. Like I've always been quite a bit psychic, but now it's like I'm knowing stuff left and right, and it's remarkable. But and I feel that everybody else is too, that we are all as a species of human beings growing in our receptivity to these vibrations to basically be able to communicate better with our sibling beings. Because what I saw next from Baba is that we're coming to a time of transparency and no more lying. That doesn't mean that people won't do bad things. It just means that like there's going to be not as much of a way to lie about it. The transparency will be apparent. And that's part of our move to collectivism and collaboration, is because we are really one human species, and we need to move together as a unit to affect the direction that we want to take our species in. And so this is just a way of developing consciousness. And so then I know it's all flowy, but about waterways. So what Baba said was that the waterways will be used for commerce. He showed me ports and bays and rivers really increasing in commerce for a number of reasons. And what, oh my gosh, these birds just dove under the water in a very graceful way. But what I also felt is that what Baba would love to see, like one of the highest purposes of waterways, is for us to harvest the power of the tides and the natural movement of the water to collect energy, to like that would be a really high purpose to use our waterways. But unfortunately, what Baba showed me is actually a lot of habitat loss, and that the way of commerce is going to that commerce is going to take a lot of our oceans and rivers, and that we're going to just continue to pollute. And but then I saw the arc line, an arc line over the Arctic, and at the poles and also at the equators, and that this is part of the way that our planet understands north and south, and the way that we are magnetized, and that the way that we are magnetized is being messed with by all of the artificial stuff that we are surrounding ourselves with, like ultra high frequency things, and all of the 5G and the radio waves and the sonar, and just like all of this stuff. It really does mess with the magnetism on a local scale, and everybody does, like, nobody's taking in the big picture that this is happening to Mother Earth, and that it really is affecting the whole planet. I don't want to say nobody's taking it in, but like it's actually having a much bigger effect. And I feel that it's affecting the way that we are interacting in space, like the way that planet Earth is interacting in space. And that is part of why we are getting more increasing extraterrestrial attention, is because we are part of a global community, like, or I mean like an interplanetary community, that like our globe is just part of it. And so so what I'm seeing also is a lot of death in both animals and people, and that this is what I'm feeling is transferable, so that when we damage the land, that people are actually feeling sick from it now, that's part of our increasing sensitivity with psychic communication. We're not just communicating psychically with other people or other beings, we're also communicating with like Mother Earth and say like the plants and the animals right at the place where they're sending out massive sonar waves, you know what I mean? Like and that this is really that we're really seeing, we're going to see a lot more habitat loss, but the silver lining is mutation and adaptation, that both that plants, animals, and people are going to be adapting tremendously, and that we are all directed to be early adapters and to be as facile, plastic, and fluid as possible so that we can transform. And like I was reminded of the way that caterpillars transform their cells, that they have these magical cells that are called maginal cells, and those cells can transform into anything. And what Baba showed me was to align ourselves with the energy of those maginal cells, because even us just like imagining about those cells helps our cells to be more plastic and facile and fluid, to help us to be the early adapters. And what he said was to eat a whole foods diet as much as possible so that our cells are rejuvenating themselves and are healthy, because that will also help us to be early adapters and for us to be able to, because there are going to be things like, say, even next week that we could not imagine this week, and our bodies have to adapt to that really quickly, you know, not just have to, it's to our benefit to embrace these new things. But basically, if we were to eat a diet of bacon and Doritos, then our cells are going to be sloppy and sloggy and tired and not able to do those, you know, quick jumping jacks or whatever it is that we have to do to transform. And the element of transformation is the same as the element of transmutation. And this skill is transferable to other areas of life. So when we are embracing new skills and new modes and ways to do things, that the way that we're doing that now, we can transfer that energy to other areas. It's the same way with those maginal cells. All we have to do is imagine it, and then it's part of that psychic vibratory communication. It's part of this total transformation of melting down all of the old resources and imagining them anew. And that was my message.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Fabulous.
Thank you so
Very
much.
helpful.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. So, Ved Bachan, are you ready?
Yes, Satnam.
Satnam.
Thank you everyone for your shares so far.
Yeah.
I didn't get a lot of words this time, so I needed more space to just be with the messages. So Baba was kind of like at first moving my body somatically to the left, like I was leaning, like he was pulling me taller and moving to the left, and then almost like opened my head to lean back and look up. So it was this like kind of posture of open heart looking to the sky or the heavens. And then for a while, I really was just guided to kind of take a journey through my physical body and really intentionally feel for blocks, density, pain, anything that was kind of stuck. As we know, things, memories and experiences like manifest in the body. So I was just, yeah, being guided to send heart breath and be very gentle and loving with these places. Just breathe into them. And I guess my interpretation of that, because I was asking, at first I asked like how to connect with these beings, and the position felt just open and like looking up and soft and gentle and receptive and listening. And then I didn't ask another question, but I feel kind of what I was holding is like how to move forward in grace, like with these beings, like with each other. And yeah, my understanding of it is just that in order for us to experience a cleaner, more open and loving world, we really have to like take care of our vessels, and just continue to check in like so lovingly and in a really slow way. And I guess for me, the lesson is like, I do many things, yoga, sound, walking in nature, that are all very helpful, but sitting and just like really listening and feeling, in a slowed down way, felt very supportive and important. And I think what goes with that is, there's emotions inside of these sensations, and to just like be with the layers of them, alchemizing and transforming. And then we create, through our vessel, an ability for grace to flow through and between each other. So yeah, that's like my kind of trying to interpret what was happening for me. But yeah, very, very powerful meditation. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Now, I want to ask another thing here.
Yeah.
So, when you have that meditation that you were just talking about, does that mean that at that time that your humanity is changing, actually changing what you're talking about?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like through the light that's coming in on the breath, it's shifting the density, pain, everything that's been sort of in the way of that flow to shift and change. So I guess so that we can connect more deeply with more beings that are trying to support us.
Okay. So does that mean that that being will be changing to more to these interglacial beings are better? I mean, I shouldn't say more, are happening from human to these beings. Is that true?
Like that our makeup is changing is what you're
Yes.
asking? Yeah. Yeah, and we have to go through a deep inner transformation, which I guess for me, my understanding is like guess I'll connect it to Japa because I'm getting like a cocoon. Like we need to cocoon and allow this ourselves to kind of turn into a goo as we're in this unknown transition. We can't move forward with the same experience, and so we're shifting from the inside out, and it takes a lot of silence, presence, patience, and love, and internal focus as well, like holding the frequency of love, but yeah, like focusing inward as our bodies are doing so much right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, now here's something. I don't know what to call people. I mean, for these beings. May I just say beings? Is that just we're going to do that to understand what's happening?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
So we just say beings. Okay, and maybe I'll just say capital B. Is that okay?
Wonderful.
And then you understand. Okay, good. Thank you all. Okay, now Sun City.
Oh, I'm so happy I made it here. It's been a really great conversation, everyone. Thank you. Very uplifting and enlightening and very reassuring because a lot of what's been said has really resonated with me. And that's been a problem lately. It's been exhausting because I'm involved in some parts of my life, like Christianity, are I'm in a wonderful church here in Pentecostal evangelical, a lot of really great African American women, but there's that whole masculine, um, you know, trip that comes with this kind of belief system. And we had a really good, they have really good trainings. And the first one was how to hear the voice of God. That was like a blow you away 3-day event. And it really, I was translating it into much more kind of Aquarian language, how to listen to soul, because it was really what that was. So that was good. But what I'm just discovering I need to say today is I'm finding that I can't really tolerate or benefit from listening to old Piscean stuff. So we had a wonderful class. It was like spectacularly well designed, deep information about interpreting visions and dreams. And I don't know what we would call visions and dreams. Maybe they're dreams, but it was so Piscean, very, very, very brilliantly done. Great teacher. 3 days from 9 in the morning till 9:30 at night. Very dedicated, loving people. But I just finding that the Piscean, I'm under the universe is and solar, just encouraging me to be much more careful about investing time and energy. And of course, I can check in early and it's like, is this going to work? Is this paradigm? Is this event going to be helpful? So I put in all those hours, which was great, but I was so deeply exhausted by the end. It took me like 2 days to really recover from it. So I hope this is helpful to other people because, to you guys, because what I'm just finding is that there's choices to be made moment by moment in life about the best use of time and energy. And I think this issue, maybe Japa, that was you who brought this up, stewarding energy and time. And I think what I have been remembering that's really positive is how Aquarian so much of what I've done at White Tantric Yoga and being in New Mexico for long portions of the year, especially around tantric times and going early for setup and all that. So I think my body, soul, mind, spirit all have been attuned to that. And now it's like a physical urgency to not, I really can't tolerate that much Piscean stuff. It's very hard to go to the mall. We have a huge mall here, the Natick Mall. It takes up miles. And my employment, I'm in this process of finding employment. I'm on Social Security, which is really helpful. But I have the time to be busy, to devote, and just trying to figure out how to devote. And it's not that hard to figure. My body tells me pretty much right away because I get exhausted around very Piscean stuff. So I hope this is helpful. I just am talking about stewarding my own energy and really noticing that the things that exhaust me it's a very good signal that no, this isn't a fit. And I have other things from the past and this community especially that has helped me recognize and embrace and encourage and support, because there's a lot of things going on here in Framingham that are pretty Aquarian. And it's great to be in Massachusetts because there's the culture is much more Aquarian than where I was living in Pennsylvania, even though it was very good for me for a long time, 40 years actually. So I hope I'm making sense. I'm really, really enjoying the conversation and listening and learning from each of you. And just really have to share that maybe this is true for you too, that the nutrients for my soul really come from being selective and careful about where I go, where I spend my time, what I need a lot more time in really hardcore meditation and yoga than before. It's really helping me keep up and recognize what's Aquarian and going to feed me and what's not. And it's interesting because growing up, I had a lot of encounters with alien beings, especially at night. And I'd wake up and go to my mom and dad's room. It's just like my name was Mary Claire Therese, actually. So mother was told she'd never have any more kids, and she had like 10 more. So I would go and say, "Oh, there's a glowing little man in my room with a glowing ball." Like, okay, Mary Claire, go back to sleep. So I was kind of used to being a little odd in this regard from a pretty young age, and probably many of you were like that too. So pass. God bless and why Guru.
Thank you, dear. So now you were talking about Jesus, basically.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to ask any or all of you, is Jesus actually from one of those beings?
I feel he's on the same vibration. That was part of what was my message at the beginning with the fact that Baba Siri Chand is also a being, that it's a vibration and a way of consciousness and interaction and communication, and that energy of honesty. It's like a language that Baba Siri Chand speaks, and the beings speak, and Jesus speak. Does that
Can
make sense?
This is Satsiri. That really makes sense to me. I just want to jump in because
Yeah.
I'm having a real direct experience. There's the real Jesus. This is my just experience being in new Christianity, contemporary 2025 Aquarian, supposedly Christianity.
Mhm.
The Jesus that you're talking about, Japa, is not the Jesus of American world Christianity, but the real Jesus. And it's what I saw in these church events is blow your mind power of Aquarian Jesus. And what was the word Siri Gian used? Siri Gian, I don't know how to say it, but like the kind of new age. There was the new age. Old Jesus was always new age, and it's all true. Coming the resurrection. I mean, from my direct experience, but it gets reduced, diminished, and frankly, bought and sold a as a totally neutralized, castrated, spiritually castrated being. I hope I'm making sense, and people can ask me questions if you want. But it's an artificial. The Jesus of a lot of religion is practiced in everyday life now for generations is not the real Jesus of mystical, whatever words we want to use, a kind of soul power. So it's hard to hold it together. And that's why I had to leave the event. It took me 2 days to recover.
Okay.
I hope I'm making sense.
So then, I'm also going to ask also for these beings, for instance, for Guru Nanak and also for Shiva, Krishna, and so on. Are they also beings?
They're communicating on the same frequency. They're vibrating on the same frequency with those beings. Yeah.
Yes.
Yoga Nidra, the Nidra. That's what the relaxation in that, the visualization of being in that communication. It's what so powerful.
I also agree that that they're all on the same, Shiva and Guru Nanak. But I also agree. I took Jesus out of Christianity a long time ago because, Christianity equates wealth with salvation and poor with sinning. I mean, those things. So Jesus for me is on a very high, a high frequency, a challenging frequency. And I would say also in this world today, there are people like I would say Jimmy Carter is one. I would say other people that have the intention of goodness and kindness are on that frequency as well. And boy, would I love to be on that frequency. But it's a hard road because one needs to recognize that this is selfless. Sorry, keep my mouth shut now. But yeah, so I think that's yeah, so these are all great beings. There's tons of great beings, and I'm calling upon all of the great beings. I call them my helpers, with a capital H, and yeah, uh, to come and to guide me and to work through me and to change my imagination and or sorry, develop my imagination. Um so that's on a personal level though, yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So here's another question. So with this for humans coming now, does that mean that we going through, called it the event, are we coming also to that same vibration as Jesus, Guru Nanak,
Mm-hmm.
or in that area?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like, to me, it's like both a language, but also a muscle. You know, when you're learning a new language and you practice using it, and then all of a sudden your thoughts come in that language and you get stronger at it and you're able to think in that way. But then say you leave that country or that practice for a while, you become less good at it again, but you go back, and it's the same way with meditation. That's how I understand Baba Siri Chand, for example. When he was in his earthly life, there's I'd read about it, about him syncretizing with Shiva, that he was meditating on Shiva so much that it I don't remember how and when it happened, but just that it happened that Baba got syncretized with Shiva at some point, and that after that he had this real Shiva energy with him. And it's to me that marks a moment when Baba was a person to then when Shiva is a deity. And that was in my perception, in my cognition of it, that's when Baba became aligned with something that was not of this earth, and that it's a language that we can all learn. Like, we can all meditate on Shiva and do that, or we could also do this with the Mother Mary or with Baba Siri Chand, with any of these ascended beings who vibrate on this same frequency that our sibling beings also vibrate on, that we can be in practice of doing it. It's like also a meditation practice. Like, I've read about Buddhist monks who go, when they live like in Vipassana and they don't speak and they meditate all day and their mind becomes very, very clear. And then, but maybe they'll only do that for a retreat. They'll do that for a number of weeks or months or even years, but then go back to living, a more conventional monastic life in conversation with other people. And they talk about that shift in consciousness, but then it's also something that they can go back to. And it's the same way that Baba became syncretized with Shiva and he stayed on the vibration of Shiva. But all of us, we can practice meditation and we can practice this. It's a holy communion of really communing with the holy, with the divine, by resonating on this particular frequency ourselves. And the more we do it, the more profound our practice will become.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay.
So can I just say one? I know we're getting late, but I'm
Say it.
all right. Japa Ji, you know, what's been going through my head is this river, and it's coming to me is that this is a river of consciousness that you are seeing and experiencing, and that is the river that we are all, I think, being called to change the course of, if you will. And that is a very, very, that's the you know, when Jesus went and healed the sick, he would say to them, go home a different way. And to me, what that means is don't, you know, jump in the current and flow like you used to. You're healed, so now go home a different way. And I think all of us, right? So you know, however we meditate on whomever we meditate on with, is helping us to see this different way home. Does that make sense?
Yes, I
Okay.
love it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you, thank you. This was really good.
Amazing.
Okay, so now be sure that we are coming, what you were talking about with the river and moving through the spirit muscles. Okay. Okay. So Ved Bachan, would you lead our song?
Sure.
That's so funny.
Inhale deeply. And exhale. Inhale to sing out. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And your light
within.
guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on.
Inhale. Love you.
Love you all.
Love you, love you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Well,
So
have a great week, everyone.
see you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Love y'all.
Love you. Bye.
Love
See you
you.
later.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.